I'm going to talk about Rodney King. When I was in college, Rodney King was beat up by some police officers. I believe it was 5 police officers who beat him up after a traffic stop. And there was a man, I believe he's an Argentinian man. Maybe his name is Carlos. I really don't remember. You can find him on the internet, who videotaped the incident. The tape is 12 minutes long, I believe, from memory. You can look up his website, and he sells the tape. You can pay him for access to this tape. Profit motive. The point that I'm going to get to is that Rodney King deserved to be beat up. And when the police were declared innocent, it was based on viewing the tape that proved the innocence of the police. And people rioted after this, and people may have even died. And there's a lot of anger in the black community because of what happened with Rodney King, because the media was saying that Rodney King was an innocent victim, but he wasn't. And the general population does not know that he is not an innocent victim. He is a bad person, and the tape proves it. Here's the problem, and I'm going to explain to you what happened. So we heard that something was going on with Rodney King, and you see the police perhaps kicking him or whatever, and they were happily kicking him. And there's like 5 police officers. Videotape, I believe you see the car behind him, and it was at night. And we were talking about it in our ethics class. And everybody believed that what had happened against Rodney King was wrong. Me and one other person, and it was a big class with like 100 people, and I had to stand up in front of 100 people and say, I do not agree. The media is misrepresenting what happened. The media is the problem. The reason why, I was sitting at home one day, I used my computer watching the news. I used to watch the news all day long while I'm using my computer. And they said, we're going to show you the whole tape. And I was like, you're going to show me the whole tape? What have you been showing me? Why would you leave something out? So I sat there and I watched. And back in the day, if you miss it, that's it. You're never going to see it again. So I watched the whole thing. And what happened was Rodney King was pulled over. The police went up to the door. They asked him to get out, and they asked him to sit on the floor. And Rodney King sat on the floor. If you've ever seen a boxer who's been knocked down, they're on the ground. What they do is they don't get up right away. They wait until they get the count of 9, and then they get up. And the belief is that they rest for 9 or 10 seconds by not getting up. So they're on the ground, and they're looking at the judge, the referee, or whatever they call it. They wait for him to count to 9, and then they get up. That's what Rodney King was doing. He was on the ground watching the police officers, eyeing them like a hawk. And the police were watching him back. And I believe they may have had a circle around him. The police were parked behind him. He saw that they turned around. When all the police officers had turned around and were no longer watching him, Rodney King stood up, and he ran at the police officers, and he assaulted them and hit them with his hands from behind. And the police were like disoriented, and they grabbed Rodney King, told him again, sit on the ground. And they maybe have formed their circle again, I'm not sure. And Rodney King again sat on the ground, staring at them. And the police turned their back on him. They were all looking the other way. Rodney King, for a second time, got up from the ground, ran at the police, assaulted them with his arms, hit them. The police put him back on the ground, and then they proceeded to hit him or kick him or whatever they did. And I only saw this video once in my life, and it was when it was aired on the news. Never saw it again. And you can't talk to people about it because nobody else saw the video. The police, I guarantee you when it went to trial, they saw the whole video. So they know that these police were guilty of being abusive, but they were defending themselves. They had to twice restrict him from assaulting them. Obviously, they went too far. They should have done something else like handcuff him or whatever. Who knows why they didn't do it. So people rioted. Big riots. They generally destroyed their own community. They may have killed some people. Reginald Denny is a name that comes to mind. They assaulted people. They engaged in racism. The media created this fake news, created riots that seriously injured and may have killed people, caused millions of dollars worth of damage. My understanding is that in these black communities, a lot of the businesses were Korean owned, and a lot of Korean businesses were vandalized. They break the windows and they stole things. I remember seeing people carrying TVs out of stores. They were stealing. Now, this guy Carlos, the Argentinian guy who filmed it, he profits from this. He sells, I believe I don't know if it's $10,000 to get access to the video, or if he doesn't say the price, but he offers for you to license the video, and you can play the video on his website and view it. He says on the website, the video is 12 minutes long. When you play it, it's 9 minutes long. There's 3 minutes of the video that are missing, that you cannot see when you play it on his website. And if you search on YouTube, you're probably not going to find that 3 minutes of video. In addition, when you play the video, there's a counter. It says 00:00 when you hit play. It implies that it's the start of the video. I saw the video on TV on the news. That is not the start of the video. The video started earlier. So he's lying to people, making them believe that a victimization has occurred without showing what led up to that. He does not show you the first 3 minutes of the video where Rodney King was assaulting the police twice and the police were defending themselves. Doesn't show it. You don't get to see it. He doesn't talk about it. I sent him an email and I said, I would like to license your video. I'd like to know why the video is 12 minutes long. You only show 9 minutes. How do I get to see the first 3 minutes? And he did not respond. And I did that many years ago. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but it was a long time ago. I've known all these years that Rodney King was not a decent person. He was later repeatedly arrested for drugs or speeding and things like that. And I believe he's dead now. He's not alive anymore. So that's one of the biggest fake news of the 90s.